Ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to the press conference ahead of the launch of the Stake F1 Team C44. It is great to have you all with us. A little bit of housekeeping from me to start, please. And my main message to you is please respect the embargo. We're going green, literally, at 7:30 tonight, or if the car is launched before then, but not until the car is launched, please. Please respect that embargo. So let's get things underway. We're joined now by the two drivers, Valtteri Bottas and Zhou Guanyu in the middle, then closest to me, James Key, the technical director, and team representative Alessandro Aluni-Bravi down the far end. Very warm welcome, guys, on what is a hugely exciting moment for the team. Valtteri, perhaps we could start with you. New year, new haircut. Just tell us a little bit, first of all, how was the off-season?
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining. Good to see many familiar faces again, and it indeed feels like being in an F1 press conference again. But yeah, thanks. I had a great break. Had a good time off, as usual. Spent some time in Australia. This time for actually one full month in a row. So yeah, it's just great to get away, recharge, disconnect, reflect, and do good training. So yeah, I'm really keen to go again, actually.
Ready to go again.
Yeah.
And it's such an exciting new chapter for the team. This just give us your expectations for 2024. What are your goals?
I think we all agree that we want more than last year. The direction from 2022 to 2023 wasn't correct. We didn't meet the targets we set initially. So now it's time to turn that ship, let's say, into another direction. And I think many things, what I've seen now reflects a lot about the mentality we have now as a team, that we're all on board as a team. Really, positive winter in terms of development, which I'm sure James can open up a bit more, but yeah, the spirit is high. So I really believe we have much better chance now to make that step than what we had this time last year.
I was going to ask you more about the mood in the camp. You've been spending a few days in Hinwil now. How different is it now compared to the end of last season? What is the mood like?
End of last season, yeah, obviously everyone was tired and long season and some tough races, but now, yeah, with all the whole new car that we have, the whole new visuals of the team, and actually quite a bit of new people at the factory, the spirit is really good. The mood is good and everyone is ready, and everyone acknowledges that, again, it's a season that everyone starts from zero and sky's the limit.
And with rule stability over the winter, do you expect the field to converge, to close up?
Naturally, yes. Naturally, it will be even closer. And yeah, it's, as always, it's only guessing who's made which kind of steps and who's made improvements, who's going backwards. That's a speculation now. So yeah, we've been focusing on our performance, and on paper it's been positive winter, like I said.
Okay, well, thank you, Valtteri. Zhou, let's come to you now. Good to see you as well. You're looking fresh. You've been back in Shanghai. How was it over the winter?
Yeah, firstly, good evening, everyone. It's great to be here again, seeing you all. And yeah, I had a great time back home for the complete months or the break time back in Shanghai. And then, yeah, just to see my family, friends a little bit. Also trying to did some, stuff filming on the Shanghai track, which is nice to see after just to see the new tarmac, the surface is rebuilt. So just get ready for that. And I had a really nice time, just try to reflect a little bit on my season. And of course, last season has been a tough one, but we definitely set, let's say, our target high for what's coming this year. And then, of course, winter is the time, you really try to refresh, start from zero again. And especially such an intense, let's say, championship we have. And yeah, really exciting, and can't wait to get it all started for this season.
You say you had time to reflect over the winter. Where do you think you can make improvements in 2024?
I think in general, consistency is still something I can definitely improve, and there was several times, either in qualifying, the traffic management in the final push, the most important one, maybe it's not being the best management, and I do feel like after 2 years, in Formula 1, this is the year that I want to really extract everything I have potential of myself. together with the package we have. And yeah, I think last few seasons has been a learning curve for me. And this season, I really want to give it my maximum. And I do feel there's a lot more potential for me to bring out this season. So yeah, I'm going to just prepare myself as much as I really could over the last few weeks and continuously before Bahrain.
As you say, this is year 3 for you in Formula One. How comfortable do you feel in the paddock and in the environment?
It makes such a big difference. I remember my first day debut in Formula One compared to now. You kind of understand exactly what is your daily schedule, what kind of stuff you really want from the car, from the engineer group, and from the people. So you understand also more how to, let's say, instruct the people to have a car or having a balance that you prefer, because every driver has a little bit, let's say, them self-driving skills or styles are a little bit different. And from my side, I think also just learning new tracks that compared to year 1 to now is going to be just a massive difference with some of these spring race weekend. Doesn't really give yourself, enough time to be ready. So this year or year 3, I'm ready more than ever. So can't wait to just kick the season really, and going to making sure all the little details we get it right, and that what makes the difference with such a tight field we have in Formula 1.
And the C44 is going to be shaken down in Barcelona on Friday. I think both of you are going to get to drive it. How quickly will you get a feel for its potential?
It's a TV day. Of course, you don't get much running. You do a lot of filming or that, but you get a little bit of just a first page of what the car will be. But all I can say is that it's been very promising, and I think over the last few months already from last season, we've been really looking forward or try to put a lot of effort into this year's car, which is going to have the first shakedown. And in the simulator, in numbers, everything looking promising, but I'm not going to put a high expectation. I just want to making sure we hit the ground, click all the boxes we want to, and then get ready for the Bahrain, the proper test.
And the car's going to look very different this year. What do you make of the new identity?
It's very bright. You will miss us on track, that's for sure. And then, of course, it's a brand new, let's say, fresh colorway for the whole team. It just shows the new chapter, the new challenge we're going to face this season. So I can't wait to be taking a part into that journey.
Thank you, Joe. Alessandro, let's come to you now. How significant is this new partnership with Stake?
First of all, let me thank you, all of you, and welcome you at this car launch. Of course, it's a very important new chapter, as also Joe and Valtteri said. It's a new team identity, and we want to open, a new era for our team, thanks to the Stake F1 team. As you see that we are using this unleashed mantra that for us means a lot. This is a mantra that incorporates, our new brand essence. We want, of course, to push the boundaries in every area. It's important that this year we move forward, we do a step in every area of our team. And we want really to unleash the potential that all our group of people has. So we have been working hard in all the area, and we want really, thanks to this new team identity, to compete at a higher level, off track, and of course also on track.
How would you describe the team's new livery?
For me, it's one of the best. Of course, it's a very distinguished one. I hope that everybody will like what we have done. But of course, it's not just a livery. It's a concept that is pervading everything we are going to do. It's a concept that we have applied in all our marketing strategy, communication strategy, in all our assets. I think we want to be, as I mentioned, fresh, innovative, going to the direction of Formula One. And thanks to our partners from Stake, Kick, all our partners, we were going to use all the tools to better communicate, to reach new audience, to expand our fan base. Of course, sports remain the core, but we want to speak with different languages to everybody.
Now, as Valtteri said a moment ago, last year was a challenging one for the team. How confident are you that you can take a step forward this time?
Of course, we set out ambitious target for this winter time. And we think that we made a step forward, but we don't know what the competition has done. And we will see only in Bahrain if the step that we made with our new car has been enough to compete at a higher level. What we want to do, of course, is to deliver a better job in every area of the team. It's not just a matter of the new car, but the way we operate on track, our race strategy, everything, you know. And of course, this will be a very long season, not just 24 races, but we have seen that it's not just important to start the season well, but then to develop the car throughout all the season. So we just want to improve in every area. We are confident that we made a decent job altogether this year, thanks to the leadership of Andreas Seidel and our new technical director and all the group. But everybody, you know, has done a good job. We need just to see in Bahrain where we will stand.
We'll come to James in just a moment. Final one from me. Can we talk about the drivers? Bit awkward, they're sat next to you, but you've worked with them now for 2 years. Tell us how the partnership has evolved during that time and what you're expecting from Valtteri and Joe this year.
First of all, we are really committed to our drivers. I always said last year, we need to provide them with a more performing package, and we are committed to do this job this year. For us, stability is a value. We know that we are in the transformation process involving all the areas, and it was important for us to keep working together with Valtteri and with Joe. We know Valtteri has been important and is important both on track and off track. His contribution to developing this team has been extremely important, and we know that he's able to extract the maximum potential from the package we will give to him. Joe, of course, is no more a rookie, but we have seen him growing the last 2 seasons. He made a step, is a talented guy, and we expect that he will do another step. We just need to work all together to be focused from the very first test until the very last season, the very last race of the season. If we will do well our job, I think that we will do a good step this year.
Thank you, Alessandro. James, thank you for waiting. We'll come to you now. Fantastic to see you back with the team after, 12 years away? Does it feel like coming home?
Yeah, it does. Well, just to reflect what everyone else has said, welcome all, and good to see everyone. Absolutely. I mean, I've said before that when I left Hindmill, it didn't feel like I'd be gone away forever, because I still had a very close attachment with the team and the many people there, and it was nice to get back with lots of familiar faces around, but with lots of new faces as well. So it feels very familiar, but in fact, a great deal of it is exactly the same. It's definitely bigger, but there's much which is very familiar, but there's much which is new as well. So I'm getting there. I think it's been about 4 or 5 months now, and I'm getting there in terms of actually figuring everything out with everyone. But it's a great place to be.
Well, you joined in September, which was pretty late to have an influence on the design of the C44. Just how much of a difference were you able to make?
Well, yes, I mean, look, the team had done a fantastic job regardless. And the platform that we're going to launch is very much down to their engineering and decision-making through the earlier months of last year. What was nice for me was to come in and find something that was very fresh and new and an ambitious approach as well. For me, it was more about trying to extract with my colleagues at Sauber the most out of that. So we did discuss certain aspects of the car. We didn't change any architecture, of course. It was too late for that, but how we look at maximizing opportunities that it gives us, and then looking at our targets in more detail and sort of upping the numbers a little bit that I was told, just to put us into a position where I felt we could take a step forward if we achieved them. So it's that sort of thing. But of course, in the background, there's a little bits of restructure. There's recruiting new people. There's looking at the future as well. So it's been a busy period. Give
us an overview of the new car. Is it noticeably different from last year?
Yes, if you put an image, I mean, we can't do this now, of course, but if you put an image of last year's car versus this year's car, that it's very noticeably different. It's this year's car is a lot more aggressive and refined. I think there's a lot under the skin you can't see from just a picture, which has changed considerably. So I would say it's a more advanced and ambitious car, and it's got more potential in it. So compared to last year, it's quite a step.
More potential, but do you expect it to be faster than last year's car out of the box?
That's the hope, yeah. I mean, you never know until you run a new car. You're hoping that everything correlates. If it does, it's definitely headed in the right direction. I'm sure it will do, because most teams are putting, all teams really are putting huge amounts of efforts into making sure what works in theory works in practice. But with a new car, with new technology on it, with new concepts on it, there's always that first period of just double checking you're not missing anything. So on the basis that that is okay, and I guess, as you mentioned, we'll find out in Barcelona at the end of the week that for the first time, if everything's working as planned, then yes, it should be faster out of the box, yeah.
And what is the target for this year?
We do have a target for this year, but it's so dependent on so many things. I think we can definitely mix it further up the grid. I think if you look how incredibly close it was. There was a pecking order we all recognized at the end of the year. But if you look at the lap time differences and the qualifying time differences between cars, it was getting smaller and smaller. And everyone had an opportunity of getting into Q3 or scoring points. There's not sort of a ton of back markers and a load of leaders anymore. It's very, very close. Of course, you've got the top teams who tend to sort of dominate results. But just behind that, it's a very, very close race. So we want to move up, move up towards the middle or top end of the midfield, if you will. I think any team that's competing at that point can do that, and there's no reason why we can't either. So we'll be looking to make that sort of progress.
James, final one from me. You've worked with many great drivers in your career. Valtteri and Joe are new to you. I remember seeing you at the Japanese Grand Prix. I think it was your first race with them. Just what are you expecting from the pair this year?
Well, I mean, although it's only been a few months, it's been fantastic to work with both, actually. What's really positive for me is, despite, of course, there's got a difference in experience there, we're getting very similar feedback from both Valtteri and Joe, and having that continuity into this year is fantastic. We did talk about how do we get more out of everything next year. How can we improve? What do you need from the car? How can we support you in getting more from yourselves, etc. Just normal stuff, really, but with an emphasis on let's hit the ground running as best we can going into this year. And we've all worked very hard at that. And the feedback they're giving us on what they're feeling with the simulator that they're doing with the new car, etc., has been incredibly valuable. So I think we'll continue as we are, but with a lot of belief in what we're able to achieve.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Right, it is your turn now, ladies and gentlemen. Please put your hand up if you'd like to ask a question. A microphone will come to you, and Will, on the side there, is going to lead this. So please put your hand up, and will point a finger at you if you've got anything you'd like to ask. Yes.
Hi there, it's Alessandro. Why is this, as the name of the organisation, why is Sauber not part of the team name? Thank you.
First of all, as you know, the team's name in Formula One are depending from many different elements, including commercial partnership. We have announced as a chassis name Kick Sauber, when the FIA has published the entry list, and we have a new team identity, Stake F1Team. So our new team identity is a Stake F1Team. It's not that we forget Sauber. We are a Sauber group. There are a lot of people, of course, in Inville working all together, but we present ourselves in the F1 community with a new team identity, with a new team name for the next 2 seasons. I think this is, for us, important. It's not just a commercial, as I mentioned before. Partnership is a way that we want to approach the Formula One world, where creativity, innovation, ingenuity will be part of our marketing strategy. And this is important also to provide to the team all the means, all the resources to approach this next 2 seasons that we see ourselves in a strong transformation process. So it's not that we forget Sauber, we are the Sauber group, but our team in Formula One is Stake F1Team.
Thank you. Yes, next one.
To follow up on that, to Alessandro, again, what's it been like working with Stake so far? Because it's a company obviously involved in crypto betting and things like that. It's got Drake as one of its ambassadors and Sergio Aguero. It seems like quite a dynamic company, if you don't mind me borrowing some corporate speak, but what's it been like?
For me, it's been fantastic so far, and I think today you see a kind of testament of intent of what we are going to do during the season. This is just the first moment, but we have a lot of activations, a lot of activities that we will be performing throughout the season. The company is a leading, company around the world in the entertainment, world. Of course, they are from under Stake umbrella different brands, including gaming, including betting, but it's a company that is very dynamic, that will help us to really expand our fan base, to reach a new target that is very important for our team and all our partners. So far, the dynamic's fantastic. Don't forget that we started this cooperation last year together with them. You have seen also during the 2023 season a lot of initiatives, not just special liveries, but also different way to communicate. This year, of course, for us is easier. We have a clear identity, and of course, as I mentioned, we've started here with an event that I think is a testament of what we want to do, with a new mantra for the team, Unleashed, that for us means really a lot, the way we want to communicate, the way we want to be perceived. Of course, this is also need to be supported by the result on track. We are all working together to deliver a better job, more performance, but it's important that we have everything. A Formula 1 team is not just a racing team. Of course, it's a large corporation, and we need to work on all the areas, both on track, off track, on the technical side, but also on the commercial side. And with Stake, I think we will achieve important targets that will bring an added value also to the F1 community.
Thank you, Alessandro. Yep. Next one.
For Alessandro and potentially James as well. This team began on the current technical regulations in 22 very strongly, and Valtteri and Zhao picked up a lot of points in the first half of 22, but you've obviously tailed back since then. What's your analysis of why that's happened? And you say you've been more aggressive with the car this year. What particularly have you changed about it that is going to address that?
I think that, of course, then James can give you a better overview of this, but last year we have some up and downs. Of course, many times we were not able to translate the qualifying performance in a strong race pace, and in some other, tracks, we have the opposite. So we have analyzed all the areas. We thought that, of course, we need to change the concept of the car in order to be able to extract more potential, also in terms of development throughout the season. And this is why we have virtually a brand new car, not only on the aerodynamic side, but also on the mechanical side. I think that our analysis has been that we need to improve in all the areas. There was not just one, change of concept on the car. We have restructured the race team operations. We have, of course, strengthened our personal staff. We have been working to, I would say, reinforce our team structures in all the areas. There was no one element. And as I said last year, you cannot compare the 2022 and the 2023 season. Well, completely two different seasons. The competition is extremely tight, and you have seen in the last part of the season all teams in the midfield converging with very, very small differences in terms of lap times. So we need to look at all details, and to do this, we need to work and deliver a better job in all areas. So no one element to be improved, but many all around our structure.
James, can you add your analysis of that?
Yeah, I mean, I can't obviously talk about what happened between 22 and 23. Certainly when I arrived at the team, of course you don't know what to expect whenever you go to a new team and what you're going to find. Do you need to feel you have to sort of take it to bits and rebuild it, or do you take what you have and build on it? And it's very much a take what we have and build on it at Sauber. I think there's some pockets of absolute brilliance in the team and a very, very strong foundation. It just needs more of everything, really. I think more development time, more development technologies in some cases. We needed to refine our job list a bit and set our priorities a little bit straighter. There were, like I say, a lot of brave decisions had been made before I arrived, which were already doing that. So it's not like the team was scratching their heads. They knew what directions they wanted to take. And as Alessandro said, it's such a close environment. Just the smallest differences can make a massive difference on your pecking order on the grid, for example, or your race to quali performance and so on. So we've been working very hard over winter to take what we've got and try and extract the most from it, whilst in the background strengthening it, which of course takes a little while to, I suppose, climb the ladder back again. Try and ensure that 23 was a bounce and we're on the way back, and that's of course what we're going to be aiming for.
Thanks both. Okay, yep, another one.
Sorry, yeah. I may have missed it, but could you perhaps explain the significance of the venue for the launch? I mean, it seems a bit more crypto than crypto at the moment, but maybe it's because it's the City of London or financial.
This is for me?
Alessandro, why don't you?
Yeah. For us, the launch is important for one reason, because we want to establish a new team identity. And in order to present a new team, a new image of the team, the new way to communicate, the launch is a very important moment. It's the first moment during the season where we can speak with you, where we can explain, where we can present to our fan, to all the stakeholders what we want to be, what we want to achieve. So the launch is, as I mentioned, a statement of intent of what we are going to do. Why to be in London? I think that you can see here a contrast, and we want to show this contrast between the Formula One, so the establishment. Formula One is for most of people, is a motorsport, is UK, is based in UK, and then we arrive here in a prestigious venues, but we put inside our identity, this new team, this new language. So the selection of this venue was to present this contrast. What we want to bring to Formula One, something new, something fresh, and to challenge the status quo. So this was the main reason, and we want to have an opportunity to speak with all of you, to communicate to our fan our new team identity.
Thank you. Okay, next one. Yes.
Alessandro, just going back to the team name, as you've mentioned quite rightly, Stake's main core business is online gaming and betting. Certain countries outlaw the advertising of online gaming and betting. So will the team name have to change in certain countries, Australia being one of those, of course?
Of course, you know that last year we alternate two different team names according to the different countries where we go racing. We will be fully complying with all the local applicable laws, and where stake is prohibited, so gambling advertising is prohibited, we will use a different name. As last year, we have a Kick as one of our most important partner. Today, for instance, the car launch will be streamed live on kick.com. Our chassis name is a Kick Sauber, so where we will not going to race as a Stake F1 team, we will use a second team name.
Thank you. Okay, any more questions? Yes, thank you.
Hi, question for Joe. Obviously, as you have known, that the sales for Trans Grand Prix is almost sold out. So how motivated and how excited are you heading to your first Grand Prix at home?
Yeah, it's quite exciting because I was at dinner table, 8 o'clock, that was where the ticket was selling, and then people were just texting me like, I think my grandstand being sold out in 4 minutes, reality. The first 10 minutes, because the app was shutting down by too many users, so try to buy the tickets. So it's great news, I think, especially for China, after being, let's say, coming back after 5 seasons, the fifth season coming back to finally have the Grand Prix there, and just to see the whole audience, how much it's been growing, has been built over the past few years. So I think, of course, I made a massive impact in that, but it's just great to see also a lot of young generations. They are starting go-karts, they are, racing aboard more and more often compared to the age I was, moving out to try to racing in motorsport, try to gradually grade into Formula One. So yeah, it's exciting, of course, not just, my grandstand, the whole ticket has been sold out for the Grand Prix, so can't wait for that. And yeah, it's a spring race weekend, so I think the fans can have definitely more entertaining on that, and there will be more racing actions going on, so it's going to be a memorable, let's say, weekend for me for sure.
It's going to be a huge weekend, that one. Okay, any more questions? Yes, please, Luke.
Question for both drivers. Silly season, I think, has had a hole blown in it by Lewis's shock decision. For you guys, you're in pretty plum seats with Audi coming in a couple of years. How important is this year in terms of securing your long-term future and what's happening? And are you braced for a very silly season this year?
Well, I think every year in Formula 1 is important, but yeah, it is true that there could be some movement around based on the news a few days ago. Yeah, I don't think today is really time to talk about that too much. I think we're just really keen to get back on the track. But eventually it will be naturally a talking point for drivers who don't have contracts for 25 and beyond, but it's not today.
Yeah, I mean, not much to follow up, to be honest. I think it's clear that end of this season is going to be a massive open for driver market for half of the grid. So I think give you guys or fans more excitement, but for us as a driver, I think we just purely focus on every single individual season, just because if we can get the best out of ourselves and the car, then it means you can do something well for the future. And of course, for our target clears, try to hit the team target for this season and try to make a massive, let's say, step forward considering to last season. So yeah.
Valtteri, this is year 3 for you with this team. Just tell us about the advantages that come with continuity.
Continuity is always great. I've seen that in my career, that every year you just get stronger as a team. You communicate better, you perform better because you're more welded in as a team. And especially from in the first few years together. There's always improvements, so I'm naturally expecting a stronger season from all of us as a team, including myself.
Okay, thanks both. Yes, another one.
To James. James Allison told us recently he thinks that the nature of these regulations means there's a kind of natural ceiling in terms of how fast the top teams can get to, and basically that's what explains the grid compressing up. Do you agree with that belief, and do you sense the grid can get even closer this season than it was towards the end of last?
Yeah, I mean, I think in the third year we're going to be opening up perhaps some new directions that open up performance differentiators a little bit more. Things definitely converged a huge amount tail end of last year. I don't believe there's an aspect of cost cap in that just yet. So there's still a lot of legacy man hours and investments made in those top teams that others haven't caught up with yet. So I think it's predominantly the regulations. But then to extract the most out of these cars, there's a huge amount of fine detail, and to extract that, I think, is where the top teams still have an advantage. So it may close up, but I expect the pecking order, at least at the top, the Mercedes and the Red Bulls of this world, Ferrari and so on, will likely be very strong. I think we can all predict that. But it will get closer. And, I think it's putting emphasis on kind of second and third order things, central gravity height and all this sort of thing becomes, a bigger thing when you're looking for hundredths of a second rather than tenths. So I think James is right, but I suspect in the third year we're going to maybe see a little bit more of a spread because, everyone's looking for that next step.
Thank you, James. Any more questions? No more? All right. Well, in which case we will leave it there. Gentlemen, thank you very much for your time on what is a huge moment for the team. Please remember that between now and the launch itself, you can use the workspace next door, and of course that embargo of 7:30 or when the car is launched. Please stick to that. And you have a QR code in the notebook on your seat with a press pack and pictures of the car. So please make use of that. But regard the embargo. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.